and welcome to my first Cosplay Chronicles video. I've decided to do this video series in order to kind of document my progress as I work on my next cosplay project. So first of all, I wanted to talk about a little bit, my history with cosplay and costumes I've made before. I think it all began, my sophomore year of high school, I want to say, whenever it was that Attack of the Clones came out. At that point, I was on Maui going to high school, and two of my friends and I, we decided to make Jedi costumes, including our own custom-designed lightsaber handles and cloaks, and then we dressed up for the midnight showing on Maui. At that time, we were the first people to ever dress up for a midnight showing on Maui, as far as I know. Other people had lightsaber props and toys and stuff in the line, but we were the only ones in full costume. So that was kind of exciting. Later on, during my senior year of high school, for Halloween, I decided to cosplay as Final Fantasy X2 Yuna. And I actually cut my hair really short with the flippy style like she had, and I made almost the whole costume myself. I just didn't make the shorts. I found those in the thrift shop. And then the hood was made by my friend who had made the Jedi cloak hoods because she was just better at sewing hoods at the time than I was. That one, I really went all out considering I didn't have much experience in making costumes. I hand-dyed the hood and the skirt to get the gradient. I sewed the skirt from scratch. I made the boot covers, and I made the belt, the little, hair accessory stuff. And that was a really fun experience, and I think that's probably the most intricate costume I've ever made on my own. And that was 11 years ago, because I am no longer 16, I am 27. So, it's been a long time since I made something really complicated. Now, in 2009, I did make another full cosplay. It just wasn't as intricate as the Yuna. I did a Final Fantasy VIII Rinoa cosplay. And that was fairly simple, where, I could piece together the top and the pants and just make little alterations. The only thing I sewed from scratch was, the overcoat, sleeveless coat, and then the arm wraps, and that one worked out pretty well, and I was pretty happy with it, but it wasn't quite as polished as I would have liked it to be. So the Rinoa costume was kind of the last cosplay I really put effort into and went out to the con and dressed up and everything. After doing the Rinoa cosplay, I kind of took a step back from cosplay. I still went to the conventions as a photographer to take lots of pictures of all my friends who were cosplayers, but I hadn't really thought about putting another costume together myself beyond, the passing daydream of, that'd be nice to have that costume. But I never really put any effort into it. And, I'd make excuses, I'd run out of time, I was trying to get together both my photography business as my full-time job, as well as, convention time comes around, it's like, oh no, we need stuff for our artist alley table, because we were also doing art prints and crafts and things like that. So, I hadn't really dressed up for quite a few years. Then, I was contacted last year by my friends over at Cross-Eyed Props, and they remembered that I had said a long time ago that I would really love a suit of Halo Spartan armor. And that was kind of their thing. They do the pepakura technique, where they use the paper and they fold it, and then they use resin and fiberglass and they make armor. And so these guys, they work out of their garage and they make awesome armor. So of course, when they asked me if I was interested in having a set of armor made, of course I jumped at the chance. I was like, yes, dream come true, this will make me so happy. And I was so happy, and I still am so happy. So, here's my Spartan helmet. I didn't help make the armor, but I did help paint it. And so, I chose the colors, I bought the paint for them, and I did help paint the black and the red. However, the couple days we spent working on the paint job for this armor, I actually had my index finger, the tip of my index finger, go numb from holding down the spray can so hard. I know that's kind of a weird thing to remember fondly, but I really felt, because I could feel this pain or this, weird numb feeling in my finger, it was like I had put as part of myself into the armor, even though I wasn't the main person making it. I think that was kind of the kick in the butt I needed to get back into actually planning a real cosplay project. So, I was thinking, what would I really like to do as a cosplay project next? And right now, one of my favorite franchises is definitely the Assassin's Creed series. I loved seeing all my friends who do their Assassin's Creed cosplays, particularly my friend Kim. She is amazing, and she's done every major assassin, and because she's also a professional makeup artist, she fully embodies the characters. And I was always super admiring of this, and it was kind of like, wow, Kim's doing this and it looks great. What could I ever do in the same, Assassin's Creed cosplay groups? That really made me think about it, because as much as I love all the characters and I love all the games, there was never any one character that really stuck out as someone that I would like to try to embody in the form of cosplay. I love all the main characters, all the guys, but at the same time I was like, a lot of people do those main characters, and I kind of wanted to be a little bit different, much in the way that when the Cross-Eyed Props guys asked me what kind of Spartan armor did I want, I didn't say like, oh, I want to be Kat because she was a female Spartan, or, Master Chief because that's what everyone knows. I actually went and printed out screenshots of my Halo Reach multiplayer armor. So when people ask like, oh, Master Chief, I'm like, no, actually, I'm just me. This is my armor, and this is what I decided to wear as a Spartan. And so I really kind of liked how I could be my own character in this universe based on the cosplay. So with that in mind, I decided, maybe I need to design my own Assassin's Creed cosplay. That idea really got cemented once the Assassin's Creed Unity trailer came out. And in the trailer, we're introduced to the main character Arno, but then there's a moment where these 3 other assassins step out of the dust or whatever behind him. And there was one assassin in particular I was really drawn to, and that's the assassin that's mostly all in white, but with a red sash. And I really like the design of this assassin. Now, as far as I know, the assassin that I really like, though I'll call him the White Assassin, which is my last name, so I guess that's alright. But anyway, he isn't going to be an actual character in the game as far as I know, because it's meant to represent the multiplayer co-op feature where you can play with your friends in the main story missions, but they'll appear as separate assassins from you, who will always be playing the main character of Arno. So, that being said, I decided to go back and study the video, and I took a lot of screenshots to get, a little bit of details of what this assassin's character's design looked like. And from there, I went and shaped it to be my own. So first of all, I did decide that I didn't want to be a gender-neutral assassin. I did want to add a little bit of feminine element to it because, I am a girl, and it would be fun. However, I didn't want to go overtly sexual with it like a lot of cosplays sometimes do, and that's great. I have no problem with the girls who want to make their super sexy cosplays. They usually look totally awesome about it. It's just, for me, I really wanted to be the character of an assassin, and so I wanted to be a little more practical about it, I guess, without bits hanging out everywhere. So when I designed it to be still a little bit more feminine, but still have the kind of covered up elements. However, the other big concern I had is that it is super hot in Hawaii. Like, I'm sweating right now because I had to close the window to keep the sound out because, of course, there's garbage trucks and construction going on outside and it's really loud. So I decided to design my Assassin's Creed cosplay to have an optional undershirt where, if it's really hot, I can just not wear the undershirt and just be a sleeveless assassin. Or, if it's a little bit cooler and I can handle it, then I can also wear an undershirt to have that more covered up, classic looking Assassin's Creed aesthetic. Once I have my design, I decided to go ahead and buy a dress form, and this is my first dress form, and I decided that I'm going to go and make my own patterns, which will be very interesting, and of course I'm going to need to reference some stuff for hoods and everything else. But I have almost no sewing experience, so this will be kind of a learning experience for me, and we'll see how it works out. I might end up crying for help to the cosplay community here and being like, I need someone to help me, please, because I don't know what I'm doing. But because of this, I also just bought 10 yards of muslin. Yay! So, this will give me a lot of material to work with, trying to piece out my pattern and figure out what I'm doing and make sure I get it all fitted well before I go invest in good fabric. I have actually already picked out my fabric. So the main fabric I'm going to use is this linen rayon blend, and it's got a really nice texture. I don't know if you can see it in the video, probably not. But it's got a really nice texture, and it's light, and it feels very like natural, and it should have a good drape to it, which I think is important. Hopefully this works out, because this is the one I want to go for. I probably will line it because, you know, it is a little sheer, but hopefully it'll still stay fairly breathable. And then for the undershirt, if you noticed in the design, it was kind of an off-white color. I found this awesome raw silk that I think is going to be really cool. And I think that these materials, because they're a little rougher, will make it a little bit more authentic looking, rather than using like some super smooth, shiny cotton or something. But that's just me. I know nothing about sewing. I just, you know, I'm a photographer, so I look at things visually, like, oh, what's the color and the texture and how's it going to look? One of the things I'm still trying to decide is if I'm going to find a separate red cloth for my sash and red detailing in my cosplay design, or if I'm going to just buy extras of this fabric here and then work on dyeing it. As I mentioned before, with my Final Fantasy X2 cosplay, and even actually my Renoa cosplay, I did do a lot of dyeing to get the proper color, but for that I was using fairly simplistic dyes, and for this fabric it's recommended I use an acid dye, which I've never used before, and I know it requires more chemicals, and it's a more complicated process. So, if anything, I'm probably going to buy, you know, a little bit of dye and then just experiment on some small pieces of cloth to see if I can get the true red that I want and then get it washed out without it bleeding over the rest of the white costume, because that's going to be a little complicated, and undoubtedly I'm going to be sweating in it, so I really don't want to have any dye color running onto the white, and yeah, that'll look gross. Wouldn't like that. Alright, I am sweating buckets now, so I think I'm going to call this video done. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a like down below. I really appreciate the feedback. And if you'd like to follow me on my Cosplay Chronicles, please click subscribe, and hopefully I'll have an update next week for you guys. Alright, thank you so much. Bye!